Couple of word magics. The Ministry of Defence. Anyone ever looked at that word? Ministry of Defence. Isn't a ministry church? Are they church defenders? And then you look at the term infantry. Child soldiers, that means. And one of the members mentioned this week about the songs about it in America, the little drummer boys who marched before the troops, all banging away at drums and tunes. Why? Because they were the first line of defence. They were the first to be shot. You see, child sacrificing has gone on a long, long time. Another thing to ponder on was Aryan, known as Aryan, originally Yan. Has it been lost in translation? Means original. Yan is an optimal state of mind for higher initiates. Something to get you pondering on. Global warming. This is a short piece that will take us into another music break. And then we're going to get into some interesting pieces. More interesting anyway. Now, with debate raging globally over climate change and global warming, when the world was told by the Russians in the late 1950s we were potentially going into a global cooling period, not warming, which could explain some of the chemtrailing that's been going on in our skies over the last few decades. You create a level, it can heat the atmosphere up and prevent some of the cooling, is the theory behind that. But perhaps one thing has been overlooked, which is kind of typical in my opinion, whereby one social engineering program then has wider impacts on other parts of life. And it's typical of the Ouroboros practice of the clowns. They put up one thing and it ends up swallowing itself with another program. And that social engineering program was designed to cram as many people into towns and cities as possible, with the object of then being able to control them easier. It was also easier to mind control them as well, and bombard them with negative frequencies into that zone and then create more issues. And this also had another aspect, as if you cramp people's space, conflict arising from it is never far away, and all part of their other program of divide and conquer. There is a reason why these high rollers live far away from cities and the masses, generally in massive grounds, and neighbours are far away, as they are not bombarded with these negative frequencies from the masses. It's not just towers that does it, it's people as well. That's what people don't understand. Negative people creates a negative environment. And the main impact of this is building high-rise buildings, which generate way more heat. So if you're worried about global warming, there's your answer. And it's labelled as an urban heat island, is a metropolitan area that is significantly warmer than its surroundings. And according to the EPA, the annual mean air temperature of a city with 1 million people or more can be between 2 and 5.5 degrees Fahrenheit warmer than the surrounding areas. What are they always talking about? At being 2 degrees more. Well, there's a heat rise of 2 to 5.5 degrees. Now in the evening, the difference can be as much as 22 degrees as rural areas quickly cool down after sunset while cities maintain the heat. So what is causing it? Concrete. This absorbs the heat way more and makes the city hotter. And then when you add in several high-rise buildings with glass, and that heat is reflected and magnified several times. They had problems in London. They built a building the wrong way, and the sun hitting the glass was buckling cars on the ground because it was reflecting, just buckling cars to bits. Would you imagine what it's doing to people? These clowns don't tell you this, do they? Oh no. And the solution is we have to move away from high-rise buildings and condensed cities and towns, and preferably away from water. Yes, it's nice to live on the ocean, and yes, it's nice to live on the river, but it's not much fun when a tsunami rolls in, or a hurricane rolls in, or a flooding rolls in. It's just not, as many thousands of American people have found out this year. And both can contribute to retaining heat, which becomes unbearable in certain regions during the summer. Look at Manhattan, a sea of crude, ugly, high-rise buildings that's generating massive heat. All while playing the dick-swinging contest of my building is bigger than yours, all built for using the same money people who are pushing the climate change narrative. You see, they all report us again. So if we want to cool down the core planet temperature, the very clowns who sit on think tank committees to discuss the problems are or were the very ones who created it. And it's up to them to fix the causes that they created first, not pass it on to the public. We never built or asked for concrete jungles. You did.